But what we do, every time, so we have the singing first. So I ask the people to go through it. You will find it, I will tell you. And namaste to others who are all joining slowly. Let us start now. Om Akhandamandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Hari Om. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramakrishna. Welcome to this Thursday class of understanding the hymns. We have taken up the Guru Stotram as a first hymn in our class, and after that we have taken up the Arati song, Khandana Bhavabandhana. So as usual, I will ask Juma to sing the Khandana, the first 8 verses, and then I would request you, if you have the paper before you or the book before you, you please go through word by word when she sings, so that these words become familiar to us. Okay. Let's start.
Khandana bhavabandhana jaga vandana vandito mai niranjana nararupadhara niranjana nararupadhara Nirguna Gunaman Mochana Ghadushana Jaga Bhushana Chidghana Kai Gyananjana Vimalanayana Gyananjana Vimalanayana Vikshane Mohajai Bhaswara Bhava Sagara Chira Unmada Prema Pathar Bhaktarjana Jugala Charana Bhaktarjana Yugala Charana Tarana Bhavapar Drimhita Yuga Ishvara Jaga Dishvara Yoga Sahai Nirodhana Samahitamana Nirodhana Samahitamana Nirakitava Kripa Bhanjana Dukha Ganjana Karuna Ghana Karma Kathor Pranarpana Jagatatarana Pranarpana Jagatatarana Vrintana Kalidor Vanchana Kama Kanchana Atinindita Indriyara Tagishvara He Naravara Tagishvara He Naravara वर देहपदे अनुराग निर्भयगत संशय दृढ निश्चय मानसवान् निष्कारण भक्त शरण निष्कारण भक्त शरण त्याजी जाति कुलमान संपद तव श्रीपद भव गोष्पद वारियथाय प्रेमार्पण समदर्शन प्रेमार्पण समदर्शन जग जन दुख जाय.
Thank you. So we found this. The verse starts at number 1, Khandana, and on the 8th stanza, it is Jaga Jana Dukha Jai. It ends there. It is very beautiful to see how Swamiji has devised this entire stotra. First 8 verses, at one laya it goes. Laya means at one type of pattern of beating. So it is called Chautal, and in that Chautal, it goes on, the tala goes on the same manner. From Khandana to Jagajana Dukha, the same beatings are given. But then, after that, immediately Swami Vivekananda changes the speed of the stotra. That is, the tal also changes, but the raga does not change. The raga is same, as it is called the Mishra Kalyan, that is the name of the raga. And in that raga, he goes on, but changes the laya. So what happens, and this is the last portion that we have coming. So at the time when Namo Namo Prabhu, that sentence comes, the pujari is supposed to take the chamar, and he is going to fan the deity with his chamar. Chamar is the big fan that we have, you might have seen during the Arati time, we take it, and then the pujari fans the deity. So that happens from Namo Namo onwards. Actually, in our tradition, in Ramakrishna tradition, which stanza starts with which, what we have to do. So there are 5 elements, and we represent the 5 elements with certain objects. And with that objects we take in our hand and do the puja. So each object can go up to what time is not mentioned anywhere, but it is observed. So from the seniors we learn, and in that way we do that. So when Namo Namo comes, we are supposed to take up the chamar. So some people take from Jyotira Jyoti, or some people take from Dhede also. It doesn't matter where you take it, but what I'm telling is there are certain things people follow as a tradition. Now, we saw last week this Namo Namo Prabhu Vakyam Anatita. O Lord, repeated obeisance to you. Namo Namo. Twice we give obeisance. That means my pranams to you twice. This 2 times does not mean twice only. It can be many times. When we worship our Lord, what we do? We make obeisance. You must have seen among the Buddhist people, when they do pranam, they do thrice. Three times they will bow down on the earth. And there are people who do 5 times on the earth. And there are people who do many number of times. This is the Shravan month, when Shravan month was there. So you see in Bengal and Bihar, etc., UP, etc., that people take kavadi to Lord Shiva. And there are people also who make pranam on the roads, full body pranam, they fall, and then next time when they get up, they will go to the place, the spot where their head touched. Again they will bow down completely flat, and then again they get up and then do. Likewise also they go to Shiva temple. It's just something exhilarating, when you see such people. I have seen in Bengal as well as in Bihar, I've seen this type of wonderful way of their devotion to the Lord. They bow down. So they do that. So any number is to be understood by telling Namo Namo twice. If he has told once only, then we can say, yes, once I am doing pranam. But here Namo Namo he has said twice. So naturally, 2 or any number of times you can do. So he says, O Lord, I am making pranam to you twice. So should you not listen to me? That is the question. Why we ask say twice? Suppose you call me Maharaj and my attention is somewhere else. Then to draw my attention, you will again call me Maharaj. So 2 times you call me. So that means you are drawing the attention to the devotee. So Swamiji here is drawing the attention of his Guru, Ramakrishna, towards him by telling Namo Namo. Twice he is telling that. That is what we interpreted that. And then he says, you are beyond speech and mind. I understand that. Your speech and mind is, you are beyond that, but then you are the sole support also of the mind and speech. So Vakya Manatita. But then you are the Mana Vachana Eka Adhar. You are the sole support. If you are not there, the speech will not come. The mind will not function. But though you are beyond these two, you are the basis and you are the support of these two. That he says. Then he says, you are the light of light. Jyotira Jyoti. So that is a very beautiful concept of, because what we call Jyoti, generally, we think the external light is called Jyoti. Suppose night has come and the whole room is completely dark. So I put on the bulb, of 60-watt bulb I am using. So I put it on. I am saying that Jyoti has come, the light has come. But this light, this 60-watt bulb light is nothing. When you come out of your house and see the stars, on a new moon night, you can see the stars, and the stars can give you light. You can walk on the roads, you can see things, objects you can recognize, everything. That is also light. But then the stars' light fade into insignificance when the moon rises. When the moonlight comes, it's blue, cool light. Everywhere you can see bluishness. And the bluish light in the night is, of course, is such a wonderful scene, And Swami Vivekananda says, on Purnima night, you should see Taj Mahal. So beautiful it is, everywhere bluish, and the whole building is standing there. And the bluish light gives such a glow to that object. So he says, that's wonderful to see. So because Swamiji went to Agra and he has seen that. And so even that moon, which gives us cool blue light, pales into insignificance when in the morning sun rises. When the sunlight comes, all the other lights becomes insignificant. So they have got no meaning at all. The sunlight is so bright. It is so bright it is. This brightness of the sunlight is nothing, not one sunlight. Imagine this one sunlight at the degree of 45 degrees, how much hot it is and how much light it will provide. But even then, like that, 1,000 suns are there which cannot be equal to the luminosity of God. God is self-luminous, not like sun. Sun also borrows. Sun also works according to the instruction of the Lord. So everything is doing in this world. God is telling you do, so it does. That is what the whole Prakriti, the whole Prapancham, the whole universe is moving like that. But the Lord's light, what it is not equivalent to 1000 suns light. That means you can understand how brilliant that light can be. That's why those saints who have realized God, they tell us, oh, what a luminous personality Lord has. Even those saints who are living with their bodies, when they realize God and when they start speaking about God, their whole body becomes luminous and they become so bright. And people wonder how this person in ordinary time is not so bright, but then he looks so bright now. It is because of the God's power that comes into a person. So likewise, Jyotiram, Jyotira, Jyotihi, that which is Jyoti of Jyoti, light of lights, he says. It is blazing forth. And where this light is blazing forth, for that he says, Hridi Kandara, in the heart cave. The heart is considered as a cave because it is dark. Any cave you go, recently I went in the southern coast of the Ireland, so one or two caves I saw. The caves are utterly dark inside. When you enter, you find everything is dark. Outside light cannot peep into it. Such darkness. But then our heart is like that. So that darkness, when the Lord name you take, then what happens? Your heart becomes lighted up. And the heart becomes bright. So you don't see the darkness. Here darkness is equated with the ignorance. And the light is equated with knowledge. So when the knowledge appears, the darkness of ignorance goes away. So, in Kanpur, when I was there as a brahmachari, one Swamiji came from outside. He is also called Paramahamsa, and he came to our ashram. He stayed for a few days. So since I was a brahmachari, young man, so our big Swamiji told, hey, you do all the seva to this Swami. So he put me. So I used to bring water to him and wash his clothes, etc., etc. So he became very familiar to me. And in the public class, every day he used to take a class. So he used to sit on the pedestal. And then I used to sit in front of him. Because if he wants anything, I must serve him, you see. So I would sit in front of him. And all the public are there. And he would looking at me. And sometimes he would look at me straight away and speaking to me only as if. And I would feel very, very something feeling, that you don't feel very comfortable when the speaker looks at you only. He should look at everyone, and then speak in the audience. But he is looking at me only. So once he was telling, you see, when the sun rises on the horizon, the darkness that is there in the universe will fade away. Then he looked at me. He expected some reaction from me, and I was like a stubborn man. I was sitting and simply looking at him, not nodding my head. He thought I have not understood. Then he said, when the sun rises, the darkness goes away. Again he looked at me. I'm still keeping stubborn, I'm not telling anything. I'm not nodding my head. Then he said, Arey, ye bhi tumko samajh mein nahi aa raha hai. And he gave such a gali, in Hindi. This small thing you don't understand? Like that he shouted. I said, no Maharaj, I understand. Then tell, samajh gaya, tum bolo aisa. Like that he told me. See, this I remember. When the sun rises, then the knowledge comes. When the knowledge comes, the ignorance, which is darkness, goes away. So that is the point here Swamiji says, you are destroying the darkness there. So after that, we saw this in the last week, and any question on the last week's lessons, because we didn't have any question session last week. If anyone, as I told you, this is not a lecture class. 1 hour I will speak and you will hear and then go away and forget. This is a interactive session. At any time you can raise your hand and stop me and ask me question and put your comment if you want to say anything. Anyone? If nobody is having anything, then I will proceed to the yes. Okay.
It's a simple thing. I'm just confirming it from you. In that line, Prabhu tumi bhanjano har. So har means, is it coming from the word hara? Mane you take away.
Exactly.
And then bhanjana means what?
Bhanjana means destruction.
Destroy. Achha. Okay.
So, Bhanjana Har means one who destroys.
Okay. Okay. Okay, Maharaj.
Yes. So that is on. So now we have come to this, the last portion of this beautiful hymn, Arati. But before that, to get to the last two lines and further three lines, I will ask Juma to sing the Namo Namo now. As I told you, Namo Namo pattern of uh, of movement differs. Yes.
So shall I sing Namo Namo and De 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 or only Namo?
Yes, fully up to the and bring to the Khandana first line.
Okay. नमो नमो प्रभुवाक्यमनातित नमो नमो प्रभुवाक्यमनातित मनोवचनैकाधार प्रभु मनोवचनैकाधार ज्योतिर्ज्योतिर्जलहृदिकन्दर ज्योतिर्ज्योतिर्जलहृदिकन्दर तुमि तमो भञ्जनहार प्रभु तुमि तमो भञ्जनहार धे 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 लंग रंग भंग बाजे अंग संग मृदंग धे 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 लंग रंग भंग बाजे अंग संग मृदंग गाइछे छंद भकत बृंद आरती तुम्हार গাইছে ছন্দ ভকত বৃন্দ আরতি তোমার জয় জয় আরতি তোমার হর হর আরতি তোমার শিব শিব আরতি তোমার খণ্ডানো ভাব বান্ধানো জাগো বান্ধানো বন্দি তোমার.
Very good. Thank you. So, in this, that Namo Namo we saw, today we are taking up the last portion of that De 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 Lang Rang Bhang Baje Anga Sang Mridang Gaiche Chand Bhakat Vrind Arati Tomar. Then three lines he adds Jaya Jaya Arati Tomar, Hara Hara Arati Tomar, Shiva Shiva Arati Tomar. After the Tomar, then we go back to the first line, Khandana Bhava Bandhana. And from the first line, we close it. We come to a close. So, today we see this De. Three times he used the word, the term De. Is one syllable word, De. De. Lang Rang Bang. Baje Anga Sanga Mridang. Simple meaning I'm telling you, Profile. First, Arati Tumar. The Arati that I am doing is, I am submitting to you. It is your Arati. Your Arati means, I am giving this Arati, I am dedicating this Arati to you. That is called Arati Tumar. Then, how I do this Arati? I am actually doing not alone. I am doing with lots of devotees. Even when Swamiji was there, when he started this Arati, all the direct disciples, who were with him in Berul Math, they used to sit together. And the Brahmacharis were there, they all used to sit together. Later, sometimes Yam used to come. Mahendranath Gupta used to come and sit there. Sometimes other devotees also would come and join. So they all would enjoy this Arati. So he says, oh Lord, I am not doing this Arati all alone. I am doing with devotees. Bhakta Vrinda. So all these Bhakta Vrinda, they are called Bhakta Vrinda. Bhakta Vrinda means in plural. Bhakta means one devotee. Bhakta Vrinda means many devotees. So many devotees in plural, the Vrinda word is used in Bengali. So Bhakta Vrinda. So he says Bhakta Vrinda. And then, okay, with all the devotees, I am doing this Arati, I am singing, we are singing. We are not singing Elo Melo. In Bangla we say Elo Melo. That is, according to your interest or according to your liking you sing. No. It's not like that. Actually, in proper rhythm we are singing. So, he says, Gaiche, Gaiche, we are singing, okay. But then how we are singing? In proper chand. Chand means meter or rhythm. So every song has got a rhythm. This song he has done it on Mishra Kalyan Rag. So Mishra Kalyan Rag has got a particular chanda. So according to that chanda, we are singing. So it's not, the meter is very correct here. And Swamiji has written this stotra. You'll be really surprised when you play tabla along with this song, or pakwaj, or mridangam, whatever instrument you have. When you play, you can see according to the bowl, according to the syllable that is being pronounced, the tal exactly sets in. So when you do with all those things, then you can understand how wonderful, how he chose those words. It is really remarkable. It's the mind, building. Because then only we say, this is not somebody who sat and cogitated, meditated, and then wrote a few lines. The lines have come from his heart spontaneously. That's why all the great poems you take, you will find spontaneous written poems have got wonderful chanda. The meter is there. So he says, Gaiche chand. Then he adds, okay, we are singing with proper meter of the raga, and we have got a lot of devotees are there, and we are giving this arati to you. But then along with us, there are baje. Baje means being played. What are the being played? Anga Sangha Mridang, he says. Anga Sangha Mridang. Anga means hands. That's why when the Namo Namo comes, if you don't do your hand tala, that means you are going against Swamiji. Because Swamiji expects us to play Anga. Two hands you have to give the play. Namo, Namo, like that you have to do that. And that's what Swamiji says. Anga, Sangha. Sangha means together. Together with what? Hands play tala on their palms together with mridanga. Mridanga is a very beautiful, Indian musical instruments. I can take 2 hours talk, I can give on Indian musical instruments, but that is not the subject today. But then, this among the Indian musical instruments, there are certain instruments called percussion instruments. Percussion instruments means they align with the main singer and they give the beats so that the singer also does not stray away from the beats. So the music laya, that is the raga, goes on like this, and it goes on two rails. As a train moves on 2 rails, exactly like that, there are 2 rails in the music. In the Indian music, we call it tal and laya. Tal and laya both are there. In one of the earlier classes, I think, in mother's class, I think I went very detailed way about the tal and laya, etc. So I'm keeping it short today. So this tal and laya are the 2 rails over which the train of music runs. So when the 2 rails are exactly fitted at the exact distance, then the train movement is smooth. Likewise, the tal and laya must be there. So he says that this with hand given beatings, that is beats or the tal, along with that the mridanga also plays. So what is mridanga? Actually, in southern India, is for the South Indian Carnatic music, mridangam is used. It is called mridangam, and mridangam is like you can say it is the shape of a barrel. It starts with the small, and then in the middle it expands, and then again it goes small. So it's like a barrel. But then mridangam is made of clay. And when the Muslims came into this country, our country, then they were much interested in the dance and music. Kathak dance developed by Mughals. Likewise, the classical Hindustani music was also developed by them. Lot of them became great musicians. They are all, many Muslim families we find, very great musicians came. What they developed? They developed another percussion instrument, and it is called pakhavaj. So they used to say pakhavaj must be beaten. So this pakhavaj also something like a mridangam, but little bigger than the mridangam size. So that mridangam size, this pakawaj, or pakawaj you say in colloquial language, we say pakawaj, that's the right word. So what is pakawaj? Pakawaj means, Sanskrit word is paksha vadya. Vadya is called vaj, and paksha is pak. So pakawaj, they say. So this pakshavadya means accompanying instrument. So this pakawaj is wonderful. Particularly pakawaj is more musical when you play not for the filmy music, I'm telling, but the music, Shastriya music, that is the classical music. Pakawaj is very well. Particularly dhamar, etc., when they play, and that music, it is very well known. For instance, some of the Vaishnava songs, they have dholak. Tabla also doesn't suit them well because the Sankirtan, as they call it, the Sankirtan requires dholak, and Mridangam requires very nice Carnatic music. So likewise, the instruments are also classified according to which song you can play. Swamiji himself was an expert in playing pakawaj. So he used to play pakawaj, and there is a picture, a painting of Swamiji playing pakawaj in Bombay. Next to our ashram nearby, there is a music institute where students go and learn music. In that music institute, there is a big painting of Swamiji. And Swamiji is sitting there, and he has got pakawaj in his hands and is playing that. That's a beautiful painting. When I saw that, I was thrilled because we are only hearing, Swamiji could play tabla, Swamiji could play pakawaj, Swamiji could sing well. So Vivekananda had all these wonderful talents, and so he wanted to say the original pakawaj came from the source instrument, and that is mridangam. So if you go to South Indian temples, you will see the dancers, the sculptures are there, many sculptures are there. The dancer sculpture you will find, the dancer is holding the mridangam. As if she is playing the mridangam, she is in a dancing mode. And the mridangam is said to be very well played by Nandi. Nandi is the Vahan, the carrier of Lord Shiva. Is called bull. The big bull is called. And that big bull is, of course, is a bull face at a human form he has got. So he plays, the Nandi plays, his name is Nandi, and Nandi plays this mridangam when Shiva dances. You see, when you play the tala, and the tala is very lilting, then you like to dance. That's why this, and then like that there are several instruments are there. So mridangam, that's why Swamiji uses here the word mridanga. Anga sanga mridanga, hands along with the mridangam. So you play the tala. And he says, before that, he uses six syllables. What are they? De, lang, rang, bang. Now, I have inquired what is the meaning of this de, lang, rang, bang. Many people could not tell me. And I used to wonder, oh, Thakur, what is this? De, lang, rang, bang. And simple in one line they explain as if these are the sounds that come up when you sing and the musical along with the musical instruments. So in Belur Math itself, we have lots of instruments being put on. In some of the centers, I have seen some people come and play flute along with the khandana. And here in our center, Ireland, one of our devotee played along with the khandana violin. So you can play musical instruments along with that. You can play violin, you can play in Belur Math when we were brahmacharis during Ramnam Sankirtan. We used to see a man, he used to come and play violin. And one man will play the flute. So there are many instruments. And in tal instruments itself there are many. There is called kanjani. We call it kartal. We keep it. We also have here two flat instruments are there. attach each other and then play. And that gives jill, jill, like that, the sound it gives. And also, there are other types of musical instruments are there which you can play. So when you use all types of musical instruments and you sing Arati, there are some sound come up from the musical instrument, and that is described as de, lang, rang, bhang. These are the sounds that come up. Like that is said. As you know, this sound can come, exactly this type of sound come even in when you open the tap. On that day, I was keeping a bowl under the tap and opened the tap slowly, and the water started falling on the tap, on the bowl. The bowl was little corner, so that the water falls on the brim of the bowl. And you know, I was sitting and sipping my coffee, and I'm hearing certain words in that. And the water is falling on that, and water is getting disturbed and spreading out. At that time, the water dashing on the brim of the bowl is creating some sounds. Now, the sounds are accidentally, they sounded like those words that I knew. Likewise, anywhere, sometimes the thunder comes. Of course, in Ireland, we don't have thunder. We have plenty of rains, but I have not heard thunder here in the last 3 years. So, of course, lightning I have seen, but not thunder. I don't know why thunder doesn't come here. And the thunder, when the thunder comes in India, of course, thunder, you get a lot of thunder. And when the thunder comes, in that thunder sound, you can actually imagine, according to your mind, the certain words that you use in your day-to-day activities. So it's very interesting how a tap can give you certain sounds. Likewise, all the musical instruments, when they are playing together in chanda, in meter, they create some sounds. They create some vibrations. And these vibrations go into our ears. And our mind compares those words with the words already known to us. And then it says, this is the word that comes. So it says, lang, rang, bhang. But then that did not satisfy me. I wanted to go deeper into that. What can be lang, rang, bhang? Then one day I discovered this la stands for something. Ra stands for something. Bha stands for some other word. So what could be these three things that this lang, rang, bhang can indicate? Then I was thinking, it's just struck me, the lung, the la of lung represents laya. Likewise, the ra of rang represents raga. And bha of the bhang represents bhava. Swamiji was one person who did not believe in the only external things. He wanted, when we sing this song, when we do this Arati song, our mind must be absorbed in that song. How Ramakrishnanaji used to get completely absorbed when Arati being sung. I have seen many devotees also, when they sit, they become like a stone. No movement when the Arati is being sung, because the mind gets completely absorbed. So the bhava must be there. Without bhava, however you sing loudly, it doesn't make any meaning, because Lord will not listen to you if there is no bhava. And there must be raga, as that is what called rang, and there must be laya, tal must be there. So it's called lang. So lang, rang, bhang I interpret as laya, raga and bhava. But the first three, what they are? They. Then I found that when pakwaj is being played and when tabla is being played, tabla is, as if you cut the pakwaj into two and that becomes tabla, they say. They make fun like that. But then both are pakwaj as well as tabla. They require cow heat, cow skin is required to play well. The best sound will come if the cow heat is there. So now they say, when you do that, both are being played by two hands. But then the sound that emanates from tabla is much different from the sound that emanates from pakwaj. Much different. So naturally, the sound that is coming out from the instrument can be written down in words also, in syllables. So dha, tin, tin, na. See, dha is there, dhi is there, tin is there, na is there. Now these type of sounds come. If you hear some of the top ranking, like Allah Rakas tabla, in a show in London only it happened. He was playing tabla, and then he stopped the tabla playing and he said, "Now I will reproduce the sounds that we utter by mouth through my fingers on the tabla," he announced. And then he says, "Dha, din, din, na." And he plays tabla, exactly that sound was coming, dha, din, din, na. It was something remarkable. About 5 minutes he played, and it was wonderful. It is there in YouTube. You can see that. So the words that are coming out, that is the sound that is coming out, can be written down. Now when you write the tabla bols, as they're called, bol word comes from bolna in Hindi. Bolna means speaking, telling. That is bolna. So what is told is bol. So we say there is a bol for tabla. So what is the tabla bols? As you said, da, din, din, na. This is a bol. That means I am telling by mouth. This you have to bring it through your fingers on the instrument. That's why when the guru comes and teaches you music, he will tell you these bowls. And these bowls have to be transferred. You have to take it in your mind, absorb it, and that bowl, those syllables, you have to bring it through your fingers on the instrument. You are not supposed to speak there at that time. So the bowls are they are called mnemonics in English. So mnemonics of music. Those, I think Catherine is before us. She knows the music. She's a music teacher. She knows what mnemonics is. Yes. So in mnemonics are bowls. These bowls are very interesting. And sometimes, as we say, the singer sings according to the notation. Sing the notation, one can sing, they say. Likewise, in percussion instruments, the bowls does the same duty, the same function. So in that function, dha, dha, this word, this bowl is there in tabla. But tabla doesn't have de. This sound is not there in tabla. So when Swamiji wrote this song, exactly how he chose the bowl also, you see. He used the word de, which is used in pakwaj or mridangam, not in tabla. So sometimes we don't have pakwaj player and we ask the tabla player to play with that. So he plays well, very good. It's okay, but it doesn't jamta nahi. We say that. It doesn't give you that type of satisfaction. But when you see somebody playing pakwaj, I was in my training center for 2 years in Belur Math. I will tell you one funny incident. One Swami was there. Every day he used to come for the arati and he would take up that pakwaj, he would clean it and apply that wheat flour over that, and then he will give jam jam, like that very nice sound he will give, and then he will sit. And then when Khandana starts, he will start playing. And I am a brahmachari at that time, so a young boy. So I would go and sit next to him and look at his fingers, how the fingers play. You know, in tabla and mridangam both are being beaten by the fingers. In pakwaj, the whole palm is used. Sometimes the fingers also used, but when fingers are used only when light sound is required, fingers are used. Otherwise, when considerable sound is to be removed, to be brought out, then the whole palms are used. So I used to sit near him and watch that. So he also watched me. This boy is so interested in pakwaj, perhaps he wants to learn. So one day, noontime after the lunch, so we met him. I met him there on the veranda. So I made pranam to him. Maharaj, I enjoy your play. Very nice you play. So how long you are playing? When did you learn? He said, you see, in those days when I joined, there was no qualification. Whether you are third class or 8th class, it doesn't matter. Now the mission says only graduates will admit. These type of rules were not there. So I joined after passing 8th class. Then when I came, I used to play tal on the table. Seeing that, one Swamiji said, come here, I will teach you Pakwaj. So he taught me Pakwaj. And 30 years I am playing for Arati in Belur Math. 30 years he is there and he is playing for Arati. So I was amazed. Maharaj, for 30 years you are playing. I got one small doubt. Can I ask you, sir? Yes, ask me, sir. You play with your fingers sometimes. Sometimes your whole palms go and touch it. Sometimes, while the Arati is going on, while you are playing the tal, you remove your hand, left hand, and beat your thigh. Likewise, sometimes you remove your right hand and then give a beat on your right thigh. The tal is exact. Tal is not put on either udhar, matlab it's not going haywire. But then, though keeping the tal, why you take out your hand and beat on your thighs? I said, oh, he laughed and laughed. Oh, did you observe this? Belur Math, lots of mosquitoes. The mosquito was troubling me. So keeping up the tal, exactly, I was killing those mosquitoes, he said. So every day I kill about 10, 15 mosquitoes. He said. Oh, what a terrible thing. So the tal also is another thing. You can put the same beat, but that means he was waiting for it, exactly to come that beat, and then only he will beat that mosquito. So that was very funny. So this Pakwaj is such a beautiful instrument. If you listen to YouTube and go to Pakwaj instruments, that single solo Pakwaj player. Sometimes I like Teen Tal and Kaharwa. Kaharwa is not played in Pakwaj, and only in tabla it is good. But then this Chautal, or which is called Ek Tal in tabla, these things are played in Pakwaj. And you must hear the solo, how beautifully it takes you to the climax and brings you back to the climax is called sum. When you reach the sum, it will go back to the first and they go to the slow pattern. It's something remarkable. So said that the tala, that means the sound in the nature, can take you to different heights. Your mind can go very high. That's why when the Jim Jim Brishti, as we call in Bangla, Jim Jim Brishti means that drizzling rains. When the rain started drizzling, it falls on the tins. If you have tin roof, the tins will fall, and it will fall on the ground and fall on the plants. At that time, such a beautiful sound emanates. And the sound vibrations go into your ears. You'll find, what a beautiful music it is. So Swamiji enjoyed these things. Because he enjoyed, he could put that they, which is specifically meant for Pakwaj or Mridangam. That means from here, we can understand Swamiji is clearly indicating to us that Pakwaj should be played. Okay, that is what they, lang rang bhang, baje, anga sanga mridang, gaiche chanda, bhakata vrinda, arati tumar. Here when you sing, don't sing bhakta vrinda. Bhakta vrinda may be pure Hindi or pure Sanskrit. But if you say bhakta, it becomes 2 syllables. But Swamiji's laya will be cut off. Here we require 3 syllables. So bhakata vrinda. That's how we have to sing. While singing, you must be careful. When you say bhakata vrinda, then the laya will be kept. If you say bhakta vrinda, though it is correct, it will spoil the laya. So that you must keep in mind. Then he says, Jaya Jaya Arati Tumar. Hail victory, victory, Arati to you. Then he says, Hara Hara Arati Tumar. Hara Hara means what? Hara Hara means that remove all the difficulties. Oh, Hara. Hara means remove. Remove all the negatives from here. And why you remove negatives? Here Hara means negatives. I interpret because it's not Shiva's name. Hara Hara is Shiva's name, okay. But here something specifically he denotes the negativity surrounding us. When you sing Arati, all your negativities must be disappear. So he says, Hara Hara, remove this. Why I am interpreting like this? Because in the next line he says, Shiva Shiva Arati Tumar. Shiva Shiva means auspiciousness, Mangalakara. So when Mangal you want it, naturally negativities must go. Then only the Mangal can come. So in this way, Swamiji has written such a beautiful Arati. I want to tell you, last time I told you once, is how this entire Arati system came into being among the devotees. That story I must tell and complete it today. The point is, particularly the Arati is one of the Upasana methods for worshipping God with form and qualities. We all know as a Vedanta students, God has got no form, no name. Name and form is beyond that. But the same God, he can take name and form for the sake of devotees. So when the devotees want to imagine God in a particular name and particular form, God appears in that form and name. So at that time, I want to do some upachara. Upachara means respects. I want to show some respects to him. And that respects is called Arati. How it came into being. A beautiful story is said in the Vaishnava literature. The Vaishnavas say that Lord Krishna was born and he was growing up in Nanda's place. So Nanda was his foster father and Yashoda was his foster mother. Yashoda every day packs some tiffin to Sri Krishna and sends him for taking the cows for grazing in the field. So they go about 5-10 kilometers, they go near the river. The green grass is there. So Krishna would take the cows of his cows, that is Yashoda's cows, he would take for grazing. Likewise, other gopas and gopis, they take their own cows, house cows. So they all would go in group. And at the time of evening sunset, they will return. That is called Godhuli. In Hindi, we say Godhuli time aa gaya, Godhuli samay aa gaya. That means when the cows are returning, the mud, that by their hoofs, they create that, they take out the mud from the earth. Then what happens? Dust comes up. So that is called Godhuli. So the dhul means dust. So that cow's dust, when it comes, it is sun is going to set. At that time, cows know that timing. Exactly, they will return at that time. So when Godhuli time has come, the neighbor's boy has returned. So Yashoda sees the neighbor's boy has returned with his cows, but my son Gopal, Krishna, has not returned with the cows. So she comes out and looks for him. At a distance, she is not finding him. So she goes back inside, she starts cooking again, and time goes on. Another 5 minutes, another house cow has come. That boy also has returned, but Krishna has not returned. So she comes and goes outside, running and going inside. She is completely full of anxiety. What happened to my Krishna? Why Krishna is not available? She was so struggling with that anxiety. And one day she came like that. She stood outside. I will not go inside. I will go and find out where is Krishna is. At that time, the sweet bell sound she heard. Every cow has got a bell on her neck. So when the cow walks, that it moves its neck, and that time the bell also gives a sound. And every cows of every house bell has got a different sound. So Yashoda knows her cows, her bells sound. So she understood, now Krishna is returning. At that time, it is already sunset. So it is delay. Sunset has done, and it's all darkness has come up on the whole universe, and Krishna is at that time slowly coming. When he came nearer to the house, he was equivalent to the sunset time, because he is himself black. Krishna is black, and it is all dark. In the dark, Krishna is coming. So when he entered inside the house, she could not understand whether it is my Krishna or some other boy. She wanted to know. So Krishna is quite silently standing. So she says, "Oh Krishna, wait. Let me know whether, are you my Krishna?" So Krishna smiles. He is not speaking, he's always mischievous. he won't speak. He's smiling and seeing his mother. And mother is unable to see Krishna's full form. But the boy is standing. So she brings a light in her hand. And she takes the light on his feet and sees the feet is full of mud. Oh, so much of mud is there. And slowly she raises the lamp in her hand to his chest. And there also full of mud. And his cloth, that yellow cloth, is, you cannot understand it is yellow cloth. It is all full covered by mud. And then she slowly raises the lamp to his face. And she says, ah, my Gopal has come. My Krishna comes. She was so happy. But then she saw a lot of mud on his body. So what she did, she brought buckets of water. Because with that mud, he cannot go inside the house, you see. Then the whole house will have to clean it. So what she said, wait here. I will now pour water on you. So she took, that, as it called chombu, it is called a mud pot. And she took water in that and poured on his head and nicely removed all the mud from his body. So the water was poured on him. And she removed the mud from his feet, from his chest, and from his head, face, etc. Now Krishna is highly clean. He is now. So when Krishna is smiling, cleaning, then because she has made him fully drenched with water, now it is her duty to dry him up. So she takes a nice towel, beautiful Turkish towel. And then at that time, I do not know whether Turkish towel was there. So she took a nice cotton towel and wet all the wetness she removed from his body. So towel was used. First, what was used? The lamp. Second, water. And third, the wetness to be removed. So she took a dry cloth. With the dry cloth, she dried him up nicely. Now, unguents have to be given. Scent has to be given. Because he has taken a bath. Literally, it is a bath only. He has taken a bath. So after the bath, you must have nice scent you should put on your body. So she brings beautiful flowers. In Vrindavan, excellent flowers are there. When you go there, you can realize how beautiful flowers are there. Big, big flowers are there. So all the flowers she had brought, and she put nice flowers on his feet, on his head, on his neck, etc., etc. She kept the flower because the flower has got fragrance. The flower is equivalent to scent. Scent is manufactured sometimes, or you can take it from the flowers also. But then the flowers have got natural fragrance. If you keep one flower in your say shrine, in your room, you'll find within half an hour the fragrance spreads all over the room. It spreads to your cloth also. That's why it is called vasana. Vasana means the fragrance, remembrance is vasana. So it comes like that. So she gave a lot of flowers to him. And then she said, now what should be given? Now Krishna is given so much of 4 types of things she has given. Now Krishna is tired. He's telling, Mummy, it's enough. Can you not stop with this? Oh, are you tired? Wait. Let me bring fan. So she brought the fan and started fanning him nicely. So Vaishnava scriptures say how Krishna was treated with such beautiful 5 items. And these 5 items are what? So that's why in Arati, we have to imagine Sri Krishna is before us and he is standing with all the mud. We imagine here Ramakrishna has come after playing in Kamarpukur, Am Bagan. He has played there and now he has come with all the dust. So it is my duty to find out whether it is my Ramakrishna. So I take the lamp and go on doing like this, showing the lamp to Lord. And then I take water. I pour water and clean him nicely. Then I take a small cloth and wipe him. With the cloth we wipe the photo, etc. And we wipe him, dry him up. And then bring the flower and give the fragrance to him. And then finally you take the chamar. Chamar is the fan. The chamar hair is coming from the yak. Yak is an animal only found in Tibet. No other place it grows. So that yak has got a hair, and that tail hair, the tail hair is taken. From that the chamar is made. And it has got great medicinal properties. If anybody is having any type of fever or anything in Tibet, they take this chamar, and then they fan the person. So the disease goes away, they say. So likewise, it is called medicinal properties also. So with that, we do the fanning. So all the 5 upacharas, the respects we have shown. But then philosophically, this is from the bhakti point of view. But from the jnana point of view, what it is? From the jnana point of view, all these 5 items that I have given to the Lord during Arati are representing 5 primary elements. Primary elements. What are the primary elements? We know. The first, the lamp came. Lamp represents the light. Light represents the Agni. Agni means fire. Fire is the primal element. Then we pour water. So water is another primal element. The second primal element. And third is cloth. Cloth is Akasha. Because the cloth is stitched with this. Threads are put like this. And in between you find certain holes are there. No cloth is completely like plastic. No. Every cloth has got holes. Because the string has to go like this, So naturally there is a hole behind that. So that is called Akasha, space. So space is represented by the cloth. And then flower. Flower represents fragrance. Fragrance is a representation of this earth. So earth is another primal element. After that, we put fan. Fan means when I fan somebody, what happens? The air movement takes place. So the air comes, very cool air comes to me. I'm so happy. So that air is another 5th primal element. So now, according to Jnana path, these 5 elements are from the nature, we take it and offer to Lord because it is His. These 5 elements is not mine. I have not created this. The Lord of the world has created. So I take each element and give it to the Lord back. Oh Lord, this is what I can give you. In Bangla, they say, Ganga, Jole Ganga Puja. You take Ganges water and do Ganges Puja. You don't require any other thing, for doing Ganga Puja. You require water. So you take water from the Ganges. So that is what we do every day. We take the 5 primal elements and they represent it and offer it to Lord. It's a very beautiful sentiment. So I liked this story, so I wanted to repeat to you. I do not know, I have told somewhere, as of course many places I speak, so I have told. But today, this is much more relevant with this Arati. That's why I told you. Any questions?
No, so
You can have some discussion.
this is the Panchabhuta, isn't it?
Panchabhutas, correct. Panchamahabhutas. The primary elements as they are called.
Yeah, okay. So Maharaj, the next class we'll do the second hymn, is it? The Om
Yes,
Ritham.
Om Rim Ritham, correct. That's true. We shall continue with, because Om Rim Ritham is part of this Arati worship. And then also we'll go to Sarva Mangala Mangalye, the Devi worship, and then we go to the Prakriti Parama. If Mother wishes, all these things can be done before my departure from this country. So
Yes,
we shall see that.
We don't have much time, so now from next hymn we'll have to go at a faster pace, isn't it?
Okay. Thanks for reminding me. I'm going very slow.
No, we are enjoying it, but then you are going off and you will not be available also, so don't have much time. We are enjoying it thoroughly, Maharaj.
Okay, don't worry. Yes, it will be done. Yes.
Well, Maharaj, going on the previous caller saying, I think wherever you are in the world, you can continue this in your pace because you're enjoying the pace, but you promise you will continue this.
Yes, there is no compulsion that I have to finish it, within a particular time.
Zoom
and time is infinite for us.
And Zoom to आप कहीं से भी कर सकते हैं.
Yes, Zoom also is there.
I thought you were talking about Zoom.
Thank you for saying this. I keep telling Maharaj that he has to continue because we are also connected thanks to digitalization. But he's so tired of hearing it from me, so I'm very happy. Thanks to you that you brought up this.
Well, the connectivity is such, we don't need Maharaj in one place as such. It would be nice if he stayed in Ireland. That is a different matter. But wherever you are, you're not going so scot-free of us.
Yes, yes, yes. Neither to Scotland.
Very
Swami,
true.
Very.
स्वामी जी अब
Yes,
झूमने तो
Suren.
झूम करना ही पड़ेगा.
ठीक है जी. सब ठाकुर जी की इच्छा है, उसको छोड़ देंगे. And
ठाकुर
then, so we shall complete today. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Rama Krishna Arpanamastu. Shall meet again the next week by His grace.
Pranam Maharaj.
Yes, Durga Durga to everyone.
Thank you,
धन्यवाद.
Swamiji.
Thank you, Swamiji.
शिवरात्रि.
Thank you.
Rama.